Right. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. Or actually, I guess it's good afternoon. So it's not our normal midday presentation today. I guess ADX is still having issues being locked out and cannot get full access to GoToMeeting. So there was an attempt to get it this morning, but they couldn't. They just couldn't get it in time. So I was like, all right, let's just do this broadcast. And then a little bit of an update. I have to actually later on this afternoon. I have to create the opening kind of slide and get that approved by compliance. But we think that starting next Monday, we will be back on for the morning show at 8:45 in the morning. So that's pretty cool. I think that'll be fun. Like I said, I got used to doing that morning show, and I liked it. It was a fun way to kind of just talk about. Listen, here's bam, bam, bam. Here's three things. Here's what it could look like, and that's it. Obviously no trade recommendations, but yeah. So like I said, whenever you go through compliance, things take some time, and but yeah, that's the kind of the word is that we're looking for next Monday start. Um, what's next Monday's date? Um, 18th. Yeah, I was gonna say because I think Melissa's leaving next week. I have our wedding anniversary, and then she's gone. The boys leave tomorrow for Canada for 2 weeks. So like, I'm like a bachelor for 2 weeks. Like this could be fun. Like I'm like I don't have any lacrosse practice. Got a bunch of lacrosse games in there. It's like man, this could be fun. I'll actually get some work done. I'm really excited. Like I'll have no kip, right? No gin. I'm like man, I'll get some work done. Should be fun. Anyway, looking where we are right now versus where we were yesterday. Yeah, much more boring of a market. And again, it's kind of even like the VIX is just like kind of just stuck. Biggest mover is obviously oil. And there's some reasons why to that one. I mean, it's pretty easy to explain, but I mean, looking at the movement over the last 24 hours, pound dollar three, right? Pound yen at minus 71 is the biggest mover, but really there's nothing else in there. The euro kind of spiked down. And again, the trade we set up yesterday, again, we got down and actually touched the parity level for a second, right? We touched it for a second. But again, I was watching that one, watching that one, watching that one. I was like, yes, keep going, keep going. So yeah, we finally, we can say that we tagged parity. It was only for a few seconds, but we did. We touched it, right? So we should be able to kind of go through it. And, the market obviously bounced right off of that one. So, um, yeah. I guess the biggest thing, and again, why we're seeing the most movement right now, and again, nothing really today. We have no news. I mean, again, we do have New Zealand jumping, 0.5%, which is kind of a big jump. That's just what the expected is. So that'll be nice. Again, this will, start throwing some big money towards New Zealand right there. And then tomorrow, obviously tomorrow, there's a lot of data, right? CPI is always a big one. Looking at this month over month, showing that it is actually going higher than it was before, and then obviously core. They like to say, well, the core is what's important. No, they're both important because I mean, gas prices have definitely come back down. So if this CPI number is continuing to accelerate, that means it's spilling over to other things as well. But again, CAD also supposed to raise tomorrow, 0.75. Again, some big jumps. We've talked about that lately as well, about the CAD coming back. So that's kind of cool. And then we have unemployment. So a bunch of data tomorrow. But today just kind of slow. And again, we're seeing the markets move for it. But again, there was a lot of movement. Again, you can see that where are we at here? Down 7.7% in crude, all the way back down at $96. I mean, that's coming purely from one thing. It's right here. Okay. Um, Now, this is a little bit more advanced, and again, for an individual kind of day trader that is mostly focusing on price action, something like the yield curve is not something that really necessarily is on your radar or a thing that you're looking at or focusing on as much. But again, it is something that large money banks, institutions, hedge funds are all looking at. This is a very interesting. These are levels, and again, you guys all know what happened like that 2008 timeframe, right? 2007, 2008. The yield curve inversion deepens to levels not seen till that time. Does that guarantee it's going to happen? No. But, again, history tends to repeat itself, right? Things are obviously a little bit different, but does it really change on a fundamental basis, this yield curve and what this yield curve really shows us? Um, Yield curve, things like that, when we're talking about 2-year bond, the treasuries, bonds. This was something that before I actually became an advisor, um, you don't really hear about it. Like the guy on the news talks about it, but no one ever really understands what to do with it or how important it actually is. It is actually really important. So it's one of those things that it is definitely on a much larger kind of macro level, but it has implications across the board. It just shows you how big the bond market actually is. And why I bring that up is because the currency market actually dwarfs the bond market. So, it's even bigger than that. So, again, a lot out there, but this is, widening. A lot of banks, institutions, things like that are going to be looking at this one, and trying to figure out what the heck is the next step. And that's why you have the markets kind of in like a weird place. It's like, you know, are we doing? What are we doing? Are we going up? Are we going down? There's another article down here too. Let's see. Where is it? Uh, I'll tell you right now. Basically, that they were polling people and talking about how you know basically there's a the level of recession is now over 50%. People think we're going to hit one. And again, is it a self-fulfilling prophecy? Maybe. Oh, maybe. Sorry. I'm sorry. This is the UK, but the US data was kind of very similar as well. That basically the UK is at risk, right? It's 50-50 right now that they'll be in a recession. Um, Again, rising interest rates, that's a natural result. We know that the inflation is still kind of out of control there. They were up at 9.6. We'll see with their data. If their data continues to move in that direction, they're going to have to raise interest rates even more. And the question is, with everything else, with everything else going on, what does that really look like? And again, we're just a little bit behind them. I mean, we have a little bit more buffer than they do, but again, they're like 5 raises in. And again, still continuing to see it rise. Now, their raises are smaller, obviously. Ours are a little bit different there with the bigger chunks. And again, New Zealand going 0.5, Canada going 0.75. Um, you know, there's some big chunks in there. But am I going to be surprised if everybody turns into a small recession? No, no. Would I be technically surprised if it goes large? Not really, because again, it's eventually down the road you always have to pay the piper. We kept interest rates low. I mean, living on that crack is awesome, right? And we knew that there was going to be, eventually we're going to have to pay for it, right? Low rates forever. It's great, yeah, but again, eventually you do have to pay for it. It's kind of like the U.S. deficit, right? Eventually, one day, we are going to have to pay for it. I mean, it may be the end of the world. You never know, but we are eventually going to have to pay for that. It is going to come back and bite us eventually. I think it's much, much sooner than a lot of people expect. But yeah, it's out there. Um, so have fun with that. That's not going to be the greatest experience for people in the U.S. Um, Besides that, a lot of small things. A lot of people agreeing. A lot of Japanese news, but nothing really I would say is earth shattering. And again, the markets are really kind of showing it right now. Okay. Like I said, for tomorrow morning, again, GDP and the pound obviously is going to be important. The EU forecast important, and then 8:30 CPI before we get on is obviously a very, very big one. And then again, slam right with the BOC data. So there's a lot tomorrow morning that we need to look at. Let's just go right into the charts. And again, I want to talk about the VIX. Yeah, there was a little bit of gap up, and again, that's not uncommon, but it's literally pulled back, and it's exactly where we close. It says 0.00 right now. And again, we got one in the red by 0.02, one in the green at 0.01, the Dow at 0.23, and the Russell at 0.18. Is that movement? Nope, not really. Right? Nothing in there. And again, we're seeing some retraces and things like Twitter from yesterday. That was a huge drop down, and now it's just kind of retracing back up. Apple, choppy, but again, closed down, popped back up again. Tesla, huge drop down, kind of spiked up, and is now kind of stuck sideways. But you're seeing the commodities is really where a lot of the movement is, and really it's the energies is what we're seeing. So looking at the Aussie, we talked about this yesterday, and this one actually did chunk through kind of back and forth. It pushed up, it kind of gave us that confirmation, came through, kind of pushed down, and then finally kind of went up again. And again, we talked about a profit target right there, and it turned at right at that 11 o'clock, 10:30. 10:30 is actually the green candle. The second one is 11. That's what the peak was for the morning before it turned and rolled. We were looking for this, and again, this was a larger time frame. This was a lot more risk than we typically look for in Aussie-based trades. About 19, but typically we're a little bit lower than that in the 11 to 12 range for the Aussie. So again, was an area, took a long time for us to chop through before hitting it. And it was a larger time frame as well. So right now, I would say that be careful with where this is at. It's kind of in here, and again, with all the data, with CPI and everything else coming tomorrow, I would say this was more or less kind of just a pullback, that impulse, and then on the larger time frame, we could throw it back up to like a 4 hour. Again, impulsive move down, correction, and we're looking for that next kind of impulsive move. And if we bring this all the way down, you can see it didn't make it all the way up to the 23.6. And again, this is 4 hour on the 2 hour. You can see that there is that level up there. You can kind of see the wick over wick. So I would say, again, it is looking like it's turning, but I'd wait for a little bit longer to go up. And this may be the same thing. It is lunchtime. We're getting a little bit of a pullback. The Europeans have also, again, from 3 o'clock this morning, have really done nothing but set it back up again. I'd say if it comes a little bit higher, again, I think there's something in here. It's close enough proximity to a 23.6 short that you could go ahead and take this one. Whoa, why is it that dark? It's like, whoa, it's like shadow. Um, so again, it is the profit target first, and again, we haven't quite got there, but I think with all the data we have coming in today is kind of a pre-positioning for what we're going to see tomorrow, or at least here tomorrow, particularly with CPI. But remember, again, 24 hours ahead of time is not how you set up a news-based trade. You'd have to see what the pre-market action looks like. But again, the fact that the forecasts are still as high as they are, I think that kind of tells you something that, what they've done thus far is not necessarily what is working. So, but yeah, so we'll see where that goes. But I think 76.81 is a decent level. As far as taking it long from this level, I would not use it again. Where is the next level below it? I believe that's why we had this marked off down here. Let's see on a 2-hour. Yeah, that's where the next kind of target was. If we broke through, we knew we were looking for a racetrack. Let's mark this off now. We got a decent level of basing right there. Put that in. Something along those lines. I don't think it's horrible. So looks like a break around 61.11, right? I'm sorry, 67.11. Again, on its way back down again, it will hit a couple different areas if you're looking for this one up top. But I'd say that the two shorts for this are 68.82 and 67.11. And again, tomorrow we get a big CPI number. Again, a big CPI number, you would think, oh, wait a second, that means there's a lot of inflation. That's great for gold. Nah, it just means that they're going to crush gold even farther. So, again, seeing some dollar weakness today in preparation for that news tomorrow, that data comes in as expected or better, we should see this drive down because that will be just a reaffirmation, an affirmation that, again, they are going to raise that big, they're going to raise that big next kind of jump, right, for interest rates. Also, yen. So also, yen, we missed this by just a little tiny bit. We were talking about hitting and kind of bouncing off of this 41.94. Unfortunately, I missed it by 2. Missed it by 2 pips. So basically the spread. Since that time, it has kind of pulled back. You can see it just sliced right through the 23. Didn't even care that it was there. It did actually go up, and prices coming up and grabbing this basin level. Now, it is confirmed here, and again, it just really kind of just missed it by like half a pip. In that case, again, parabolic move into it. I would like to see if it could come up just a little bit more. And again, it's kind of that same kind of just scenario. It's like just push out just a little bit more, right? I'm hoping it hasn't left. And again, will it retrace back down again? It has enough movement on there, but it is in such close proximity. It's kind of one of these ones where it's like, oh, look at this. Like this is great. I mean, the 1 to 3 is right there, which is perfect. You need to make sure that you get profit before buyers kind of step in right at that level, right? I mean, that's kind of where you're targeting for. It's so close. It's right there, and it's like, oh, just give us just a little bit more. Like it's trying to get back up there. Actually, let me see. Let me see. Aussie yen. I'm trying to see if we had anything up there. It would be this one. Oh, it's a 20. It's a 66. It's a little too close. I mean, I guess if you're looking on this maybe like on a 5-minute chart, there's a knockout right there. There's a knockout right there. So close. It's one of those ones. It's like, could you take it? It's so close, and it's a small one. It's only a $75 one. It's only a $75 one. So like right now, it's got like 12 pips worth of risk in it. So I mean, it's literally right there. Unfortunately, like I said, this is literally sitting at 66. Whoops. It's sitting right there. So it's in such close price. It's like, oh, if that was just like another 4 pips higher, that would be awesome. It would be a real nice one. The next one higher is unfortunately at 81. Let's see where that one is. Maybe that one's a little bit better. We'll see. I don't know. How much deeper is it? It's a little bit above that zone, but it is right near the 50. It's like, oh, why can't you be on the other side of the 50? So there's kind of two smaller things in there. And again, if you're watching this one on the smaller time frame, I think either of these two. And again, you got to like the 50. I mean, there is a zone sitting right here at the 50, right? Hasn't been touched, got pretty close, but again, nice little pullback. It is the 50% retracement. It's like, oh, there's two right there. So again, lunchtime, not always the best time to take it, but I think there is two potential shorts in there. And again, maybe, maybe we look at the 82, 80, I'm sorry, the 92, 81. If we get a little bit more Aussie strength coming into this one, in preparation for tomorrow or maybe the Aussie session, again, looking for this to turn and kind of drop right back down again with being drugged down by the dollar. So there's just, again, close proximity trades. Again, obviously no recommendations. You guys know that, but there are things in close proximity that are pretty cheap, and those are the ones that I typically like. So, euro dollar. So euro dollar. Look at that. So we were done from yesterday. And again, there's a couple ways you get taking it from the Harry Potter looking for the exit. Again, once we got the base, we didn't exit till here. So again, would not have been stopped out on the pullback. I don't really care about that one, right? This is more of the base that we're looking for, right? But again, it's when it comes out. So it hit its full 1 to 3. Again, it did come down and touch parity and then turn and rolled back up again. If you're doing this more of on a shorter term kind of continuation, not using a Harry Potter, again, remember Harry Potter is a previously violated zone. There would have been your trade. And again, I'll move this out of the way, right? If you were not using this, right? If you were not using that level, there would have been your pullback. It went down at base, it pulled back, and there was your near-term level. So either one would have went to full kind of profit target. It doesn't really matter which one you would have taken there. That one would have been there. So either way, again, we were looking at profit targets down at 1.0012. That's where, again, we wanted to make sure we were out by, and we talked about how parity would be a big deal. Yeah, it came down to tag parity. You can see the low of the day is exactly parity. It's right over here. 1.0000, and even that fraction of a pip, 0. And again, not a coincidence it turned and flipped on that one. Again, huge psychological level as it pushed back up again. So, yeah. And again, where it is right now, again, it pushed all the way away, kind of came back. And again, let me change this back so we don't lose the ability to use that later. This was the original area, that we were looking at, right? Was right there. So, I mean, we just did come back to it again, and now we're pushing. Question is, do we reverse? And this came down and touched parity at, surprise, 5:30 in the morning is actually when we touched it. So, again, European reversal time, all weakness, 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 weakness from the European Open, and then reversed. But now we will see profit taking coming back in, and I'd expect that we kind of see this to turn and roll lower. So, there's options in here, and again, I might as well. I got it up on the other screen. Let's see what's close. Closest one is here. There's a 1.0085. That's an interesting one. Oh, look at that. Was so close. Right there. Kind of inside of the range. Kind of right there. Again, right now we're kind of in the middle of the bind or middle of the knockout, so we would need it to kind of rally up a bit more, right? We'd need to go up just a little bit more. So right now it's 45 for 56. So definitely not a trade setup right now. We'd want it to go a bit higher. So that's unfortunate. Oh, wait, that's not the closest one. I lied. There is one closer. Yeah, there is one closer. All right. I drew it wrong. I must have clicked something. Yeah. All right. So this one, I'm sorry. This one is 24 for 77. All right. 24 for 77. So it is set for 1 to 3 right now, from that level, even where it is right now. So there is something in that one as well. And it's just a very similar trade. Again, just dollar strength kind of rolling back in the market. But risking 25 to make 75 is, not necessarily a bad one. Euro pound. So a lot of spike up. We talked about coming back up to 85 would be awesome, and it didn't. Unfortunately, it made it back to here. Okay. This is one of those ones that, European session really kind of turned it, spiked it right in at 8 o'clock, and then shot it right back down again from a level that hit late last night. Now, I was already asleep last night. I was just, the cross weekend, it was definitely catching up to me. So again, decent top. Love the candle. I thought it was great. It was a one candle base, very, very small bottom wick, very top wick. Was nice. Obviously, it's red. It closed in the bottom third, closer to the bottom. So again, absolutely amazing candle to draw off of. If anybody grabbed this one, awesome job. This is an easy one that you guys should have been able to grab, especially if you were awake, and on charts. I was not at 7:30 this morning, unfortunately. Love it when I am, but not today. Your 1 to 3 is sitting right there, so it's officially out and about to break through a second time. So it was a great grab. Um, like I said, we're still going to hold that 85 up there. I think we still leave this up here because, again, it is going to be a big number. Again, 85 having a 5 and the double zeros and being a 23.6. Again, I love everything about that one. But, again, there was a more near-term target put in. And, again, if you're watching this late or watching this really, really early, easy trade setup, 1 to 3 on that one. It was 10 pips risk for about 30 in the other direction. And, again, we had a Harry Potter, which, again, talked about a break below, right? Have not gotten it yet. And again, we're always looking for like establishing more near term risk on that one. We kind of have our near term risk now established again, and it drove in, kind of based out, and kind of left. So when it comes down in bases, we still got this 84.35 Harry Potter trade, right? Continuation at the bottom side. Kind of like that one. I think that one's pretty decent. So again, a new train forward from last time we talked. Our 85 didn't get hit, and our Harry Potter trade down here ended up dropping and basing right through it. So it's all good. Loving it. Euro yen. Now, Euro yen, we talked about a little level here at the 61.8 yesterday. You can see we hit it. We kind of hit it again and didn't really leave. And this is a hard one. Whenever it comes down in bases right before, it's kind of like, that's not what we want. We don't want the base. We want a clean drop in. And it kind of hit it, based, hit it, and then pulled right back up again, and then just sliced right through it. All the way down to the 71.8. Completely blew this out of the water. Don't need it anymore. Again, not a level anymore. I would say that the level here, again, has now been tested once, is probably where we're kind of looking for a reversal. Let's see. Let's draw some fibs from here down. Let's see what people are looking at. Yeah, the 50 is on a distal area there, right? Base touch, 50's on the back side. Wondering if the base above may be a little bit better. Why I kind of like this one short, again, obviously the yen is a proxy, but with the euro up here and potentially losing some strength, kind of running out of steam right now, the euro would also probably run out of some steam. And again, the dollar and the yen are different, obviously, different things there. How much does that got move? Still about 20. Actually, I'd probably shrink this to there. 14, much better. I actually don't mind that one. It's in close enough proximity. I think if we push up a little bit, maybe we need to see a true red green red confirmation out, just because it's set up for a front run of the 50%, right? Let's see, throw this across. Let's see, add alert. Let's do 50% fib front run reversal. So it looks like that, and that's not bad. So it's kind of there. By the way, that euro dollar knockout is now 19 to 82. 19 to 82. Installing on the 15-minute. Let's see. It's trying really hard. Like, even on the 5-minute, it's like, it's fighting. It's fighting. It's trying its best. It's really trying its best. And even that Aussie yen is now kind of driving back down again. It's back to 15 to 61. So it was pretty close. It got really, really close. Yeah, I wish the Aussie yen ones were just like 5 pips higher, like 4 pips higher. There'd be 2 really great knockouts in there. Yeah. All right, pound dollar. So pound dollar, we talked about a level down here. We had it marked off. We didn't necessarily love it, and it looks like yesterday morning it sliced through. It spent a lot of time there. It looks like it didn't leave till about, I don't know, 12:30 this morning, and then gave us just, finally broke through, dropped down, pulled right back up for the 3 o'clock window, and then punched all the way down. Now we said that there wasn't enough room here to get a 1 to 3 in, so we weren't going to necessarily put a trade, but we were looking for that break level, and it did. It finally broke through, and funny enough, it did give us the Harry Potter trade right before the open. It dropped at base, it pulled back. You can obviously draw a triangle in there and then push down. It was a decent move down. It was about 50 pips, but unfortunately, the basing level, and we could have shrunk this, I guess, a little bit actually. Taking the more near term base, we could have actually dropped the near term base more in there, right? Again, still triggered, still Harry Pottered it. Let's see, it's going to be close. I don't think it made 1 to 3, but let's see. 2.99. It did. It actually hit it. It just was a little bit into that zone, and again, all it did was it dropped just down to that level where we were talking about. So it pushed all the way down. So it did work out, actually. Again, we didn't have it marked off. We didn't have the near term because yesterday we were sitting kind of in here and we didn't really know where the basing was going to occur. But again, pretty easy to see. And again, for more education purposes, I mean, again, there's your bottom, there's your touch, there's your touch, there's your basing in, right? So if you're using the bottom of the wick here and the top of the wick here, that encompasses most of the basing level. That's also where you got your actual entry on it. And again, you're pushed down. And it took about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get down there before reversing. And again, we knew that this one, larger time frame level, we drew this one on the 4 hour. I mean, it's 43 pips. We're obviously not taking a long off of that one, and that's where your target needs to be. It was just a couple pips in. Let's see, it was 2.6 pips in, so that would have been fine to take as far as a target goes. So not necessarily a bad trade for where we are right now. Again, I think this one I'd like to see it go a little bit further. I mean, just like the euro dollar, we may get it is lunchtime. We may see a bit reversal now. I would kind of like it to get higher. I would like to get some help with this 23.6. There are levels up there, but obviously the pound talking about recession, the U.S. based recession. A lot of recession talk out there right now. In 24 hours, this one has moved positive 0.14. You're looking at 19 pips in 24 hours, so not even a pip an hour right now. It's not necessarily trending enough, but I think this one could be one that could be interesting to trade tomorrow. A lot of the small levels in here that we could go off of. We just need to make sure we get farther away from this 4 hour, because again, that 4 hour has already shown that, hey, listen, there are definitely buyers in there. We hit it and bounce and try to make another tip, and it's now pushing away, blowing up some of the smaller levels. Let's take a more near term high to low. Yeah, the 50 on this one, it's, I don't know. I'm not super concerned about it, but I'm kind of looking kind of somewhere up in this level, right? Again, that's where the touch is. This could be a potential for tomorrow. If we're able to drive up, I mean, it's what? It's 50 pips. We can absolutely drive 50 pips in the next, 18 hours or whatever. That would provide a decent hit and also an opportunity for us to take a short tomorrow. So, again, um, yeah, low trade balance, manufacturing, GDP numbers. So again, two opportunities. You have there, and then you obviously have there. So two different opportunities to be able to take a short off that level. Um, that Aussie one is like, it's trying so hard. That's funny. That's twice now. It's twice now I've clicked on the chart and it's changed. I wonder if Nitix is updating stuff. I've clicked, like how like on knockouts, how it'll give you like the 4 knockouts on the left hand side. You can see like the ranges, and if you click on it, changes to it. I've clicked on it like twice now, and it hasn't given me the prices. But when I click on the prices, it switches back to the other one. It's doing a little switcheroo there on me, and I don't like it. Yeah, not a big fan. Not a big fan of that one. Just gonna say it right there. Not a fan. Um. All right. So pound yen. So pound yen yesterday, we kind of drew this one out, and we mentioned price coming down and basing. I mean, I didn't even touch this chart. If I continue this across, there's your basing on the level. Unfortunately, we were looking for a break of it. We're looking for the pushback down, and we mentioned that where our profit target's coming in at, There's your candle right there. And that's exactly what it hit. It went a little bit lower. It actually did. Whoops. If I'm just extending this across, that's exactly what it bounced off of. So again, if you don't believe me, go back, watch for the recording. I literally haven't touched this one, and look how I was able to box off that bracket there. So it has pushed down, and we talked about a target down here at 61.88, and it hit it pretty decently. It pulled back and then ended up basically going right off of that level. So not a bad little kind of retracement. Again, I think the pound yen is in trouble. Still, I don't know that this one is super strong. I think this is some yen play right now. And again, if you're looking at the pound dollar, it's green. If you're looking at the pound yen, it's a little bit red. If you're looking at the euro pound, it's basically flat. It's 0.07. So a little bit of pound weakness. And this one's rising. I think with all the Japanese news today, all the comments about how they need to change their philosophy and yada, 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 I think this one is probably due to turn and roll back down again, very similar to the Aussie yen as well as the euro yen. They're all kind of in that same range. I don't necessarily, none of them are like, yep, this is the best, because they're all kind of right there. If you're going to draw more near term and not use the basing and the break, it's a little bit long, and I actually may say, hey, listen, take it off of there. It's probably easier to see on the 15. Yeah, you can see the basing right there on the 15, and that's exactly what we touched. I would say probably 163.21 is more the level. And again, I dropped down to a 15-minute to really see where the drop base was. And then there's the confirmation. And again, are there sellers there? There's at least one, because if there wasn't, the price would have went higher. But if you look at the response, the fact that it was like bam, 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 3 in a row like that, it typically tells you there's more than just one sitting there. So I'd say 162.21 is probably what you'd be looking for a reversal. And again, just retracing back down. Like I said, I don't think, all the talk of the pound recession, and you're seeing the strength in this one. I think this is more associated right now with yen, particularly with the fact that we have pound data. Now, could you use that pound data tomorrow? We know we have pound data right here. Could we use that for a short? Sure, absolutely. I mean, that's kind of, if we can just grind further up now. It is about 40 pips. So, I mean, again, UK market's closed, yen market's not open. We'll see how much movement we get. But if we can slow down and do one of these, like a real slowdown right now, that could put us right there for a European Open for this data, for really disappointing. Again, GDP growth looks horrible, right? Negative. That should roll right back down again. So could be pretty decent. Dollar CAD. So dollar CAD. We talked about this. We were talking about reversals, and again, I haven't touched this one since yesterday either. We talked about a full area, saying, listen, we got 2 on top of each other. We've kind of driven in here before. Yesterday morning, like, wait, why is there so many candles here? There we go. Let's see. Yesterday we were sitting here. I mean, there's your box. Came right back up. Didn't get stopped out. But we talked about, as it pushed back up into one of these 2 levels, whether you're aggressive or more conservative, there was a short in both of them. It doesn't, even if you use this big one, you're 2/3 of the way through right now. If you didn't, if you use the smaller level that we drew here from yesterday, you're still, I don't think you're out of the trade. I don't think you're out. Yep, you're out. So just barely are you out of that one. So either one would be fine, right? And even in the larger scale, if I move this across, oops, it was there. That's what it kind of looks like right now. It's that one. Oh, that was not the one I wanted to move. It was, just move it out of the way. Anyway, that's where it was. You can see it would have touched either way. So either way, you either, 1.8 into it, or you're already out of it. Either one, depending if you use the aggressive or the more conservative area. But we talked about this entire area being an area where you'd want to be short. And again, you may look at this and say, well, wait a second. Why is there CAD strength? Oil is getting obliterated right now. You're right, but whoops. Again, BOC is raising tomorrow. 0.75. That's a substantial move. So again, it's just going early, but decent pullback on, again, really from U.S. session base today, because people are looking at it like, huh? And again, profit targets down here at 129.48. So again, here's one you could have grabbed from yesterday. Dollar Swiss. Now, dollar Swiss, we had some levels up in here. We talked about potential reversals. I took them off. They kind of just moved and based back around. I would say where we are right now, and again, remember, this zone right here. You may say, why? This is gigantic. Yes, there's a lot of whip back and forth. And what we're really looking for is really the racetrack above it more than anything else. This would be a break over here of, again, 98.45. Now, we did have a little bit of a jump above and a pull, kind of a little bit of a base and a pullback. So, I mean, if you had gone long from that one, kind of hard to grab kind of the more near term base from this original break. I would say right now, with where we're seeing the basing and breaking, you would obviously shrink this down a little bit. And I would say that probably this area right here. Now, again, we still got a Harry Potter in there, and maybe you got stopped out on that one. But we know if you break above, there was some selling in here, and again, kind of at that 530 reversal. I wouldn't say that it was really doing much. I would say look for this one. We know that there's a huge drop here. We don't really have a lot until really this level right here, right? There's nothing that we can see on a really true technical level. Let's bring this across right there. So we do have some room to run. So kind of looking for, how this one pushes back up. And again, this encompasses most of it from this candle. If you wanted to shrink it down a little bit, you could say, well, wait a second. Here's where most of the basing is touching. You could use that one as well. I like to see where it comes up in bases and then gives us a pullback. So I'm going to say I believe that there's a long in dollar Swiss. Where is it? Is it right here? Again, the chop through and like the absolutely no candle movement for hours where it just stayed in the same exact spot where the open and close were exactly the same. It kind of sucks for trying to figure out where the true basing is. But somewhere in here, I'd like to establish a long. Do we wait till it breaks out of the top? We could, right? We could. Again, if we can get a red, green, red that closes above the 98.59, that's absolutely one way that you could enter it. Again, using color changes. But again, I typically like to have a defined risk on it versus the actual color change itself. So I'm kind of looking for this level, but looking for a long opportunity in it. If price deteriorates a little bit, again, there's some buyers kind of all stashed all the way down here. So I think we got more room to run. I think this one was kind of handicapped, unfortunately, with the 61.8. Everybody was trying to short it, and again, it pushed away, pushed away. Started the base, you're like, yeah, it's gonna break, and then it's like, everybody that knew it was gonna go higher kind of got. But I do think it does go back up again, and I would not be surprised to see this one kind of rally back over here to the 99.20-ish area. Now, pound yen. Pound yen is just kind of entering this Harry Potter level. Again, we talked about it. It dropped. It did give us the base and came back up again. It didn't necessarily give us more of a near-term base. It kind of used that level and kind of peaked in and popped back up and then kind of based in there in this range. So again, it's kind of set up more for a Harry Potter than anything else right now. I do have it up on the other screen, so let me see if there's anything close. Um, nope, 136.90 is the closest, which is right there. I got so close, so close, right there. So again, not a bad level. I'd wait to see. Let's hold on. Let's just do it right. It's really having a hard time with that level. It's really trying to go much higher. It's trying. I mean, but I'd say it's kind of set up more than for anything else. I mean, right now it's 21 for 55. It's not really the best setup right now. Um, so much risk in all these other ones. Let me see if there's anything that's even remotely close. Nope. There was at the peak, but nothing right now. No. Now, unfortunately, there's nothing else close. I think that knockout is the only one that's up there. It's even remotely close. Where we at? Where we at? Yeah, the 36.90 is the closest one we got. Okay. So yeah, kind of all you got in that one. So yeah, so it's set, but again, dropped, pulled back, went back up again. Again, lunchtime right now, seeing somewhat of a pullback, and again, it kind of you may say, well, wait a second, are we looking for dollar strength? We are, but right now, if it's going to pre-position, we should see dollar weakness before we see dollar strength, right? Even though when it comes to some of the pairs, I'm kind of hoping that it goes first, it goes early, right? Hoping that it goes early. All right, so let's go into let's see, Bitcoin totally flat, Ethereum down a little bit. Chart looks the same, but based off of closing, it's flat. Doji looks exactly the same. Bonds are up, but looking to fall. So it looks like people want to send their money into indices today. Um, All right, so oil. Okay. Oil, we had a level drawn here, and again, this was going to be our target first to see what it does. It ended up coming in. You can see the battle that occurred here, and then it dropped down to the next level, which again we weren't really taking a long off of. Had a battle again, and now it just pushed all the way back down to the origin of kind of where our fib draw was, our high to low. So interesting spot that we're in right now. It did slice through, and again, this had pushed it deep, so we weren't really super concerned. But again, it did what it was supposed to do in that level. I would say right now, I mean, question is, when are we going to run out of steam on this one? Hmm. I love this just for the simple fact that, I mean, yesterday we were, let's see, yesterday we were, I can always tell when I'm the 15. I'm like, wait, why does this look so weird? Right? Um, Yesterday we were up here at 104, at 104 basically, right? We're $8 lower. I'm like trying to think now. It's like, man, could my Sam's Club get to like $3.90? Could that actually happen? God, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. I'm like, wow. Um, Sorry, distracting, right? Super distracting. I'm like kind of all over that. I'm like, wow, really? We could get it that low? $8 drop in a day? Could we drop 30 cents maybe or 15 cents? Could we get into like the 409 level? Like, holy crap. At that point I may fill up like every tank I may be like, hey, listen, we're gonna fill the boat up with road gas. Because it's always more expensive on the water. Um, Yeah, I don't know. I kind of like it. I don't know that this is an area where I'd be willing to take a buy off of it. I do think there will be some profit taking coming in, but unfortunately, the reality of it is, look, Biden, China's the real problem. Biden says U.S., not China, is the factory of the world. I'm not exactly sure what he's smoking, right? Oh, hold on one sec, guys. Let me send a message. One sec, one sec. Um, I'm not exactly sure what he means by this. How Biden says the U.S., not China, is the factory of the world. We are the consumer of the world, but remember, did we have supply chain issues because the U.S. shut down, or was it because China shut down? Yeah, I'm not exactly sure where he's going with this one. If anybody knows, I'm all ears. You can help translate, but no, we are absolutely not. They're trying to bring factory jobs back to the United States, but that's not what he's saying right here. So, yeah, not exactly sure what he means there, but okay. Um, there's no recession until the obscure panel of eggheads. Wow, what is this? Oh, well, escape recession, right? There's no U.S. recession until an obscure panel of eggheads says it is so. I mean, I don't know. This kind of goes back to like, do you trust the science or do you not trust the science? Like, science would be the eggheads. So, are you now calling the economists the National Bureau of Economic Research? So, are they the eggheads? Because, I mean, if we just want to pretend and say that it is, or we could use legitimate data, I feel like the legitimate data is what we should follow. I'm just saying it's kind of interesting how, you know, during one presidency where they don't like them, it's all about science. But now we get another one, and we're like, no, no, we should not look at the data. That doesn't matter. Right. Okay. Yeah, so nothing else there. So I was trying to see if there was anything else in there. Yeah. So I would say right now, I mean, there's such a big push right now. Everybody's focused on recession, recession, recession. And again, with the yield curve, that is where people are putting their money. That's the opinion of the general public. It's not, and now they're saying that eggheads. So it's kind of like the money is saying recession, and now the eggheads are saying recession. I'm not exactly sure where they're going with that one. Anyway, I wouldn't say that we are in a position yet where we're really starting looking for buys. I think right now recession is the bigger threat than anything else out there. Um, yeah, yeah, I think we enjoy this and we pray that it goes lower right now. But I don't, 96.22, Again, it is a bottom. The bottom's actually below nine. It's actually down here at 95. So I would say, if anything, it's probably more the psychological level of 95 being anything else. But if tomorrow's data is bad, right? So tomorrow, right? We've looked at tomorrow's data, and CPI is not as high as what we're expecting. Let's say CPI comes in at like a point 0.8, right? If it looks like what they have is working, that means there's not going to, there could be a little bit of a reason for a pause, right? That means recession is not coming as fast and as hard as they think. So again, that could be that could be positive for oil, but I'll tell you right now, if it comes in at 1.1 or if it comes in at 1.2 or 1.3, that means the interest rate rises are not doing anything yet. We're seeing housing get obliterated right now. We see this higher. That means that they're absolutely going to have to go 0.75. And again, that means the more effort here to put inflation down, um, that's more recession talk and more kind of guaranteed that we are going recession. And again, this is just not the U.S. as well. And you may look at this and be like, wait a second, 630, but it was already moving down from late last night. The UK going into a recession, again, a large one of the major eight currencies going in, nation going into a recession also lowers demand for oil. So it's not just the US based thing here. So natural gas going down, I think, is interesting. Now, natural gas yesterday, we talked about this big pop and we talked about it pulling back, and it did. 2 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday, it did. We had a rally up. It didn't quite hit the target. And again, we could say that you go long above, yes. But even if you didn't, if you followed all the rules of what a Harry Potter trade is, right? Everybody knows this. We go up, we base, we pull back to the level, we use that as our established level of risk, and then we go long. Well, that's exactly what we saw here. It went up, came back, and then ground its way through, punched through the top, and then this morning at 8 o'clock, we dropped. Now, there is a pipeline closed, but again, a lot of this comes back to recession. Um, Not that natural gas is as exposed, but with things being shut down, um, I don't know. The other thing too that is probably driving this down a little bit is, I don't know if you guys caught it or not. I don't know if I saw it here on the other one. Probably on the other one. Um, Zelensky's making some interesting comments. Um, Basically, I guess there was a general that said, you know, made some comments about how the Ukraine could be just erased off the world map, right? That the longer we let this go, the more territory Russia's going to get, that they hold all the cards, that there needs to be talks. You know, you cannot have a Ukraine without Ukrainian citizens. If they all die, there is no Ukraine. Is kind of what he was getting at. And supposedly both sides of the aisle were pissed, but it's like, he's not wrong, right? If everybody flees or there's no one left because the country is so destroyed, it's there's nothing left. I mean, war-torn countries do not recover well. And Zelensky actually made comments about how they want four things. It's not just but originally he was like against it, and now he's like, well, it's not just as easy as us doing that, right? But he didn't say no to the first three. So yeah, um, I don't know. We'll see where it goes. But again, they're closing a pipeline down now. Um, Again, the fact that there was comments like that, like, oh, okay, I don't know. We'll see. But again, 4% is a decent amount. All it did was eventually, again, it came back to our profit target. It dropped down. And in reality, all it did was kind of come back down and fill the gap right there. So, and bounce off of it to the other side. So we weren't in this one short. We were in this one long. And again, decent Harry Potter trade high. Again, big reversal, very, very fast. Again, that's why it's kind of a volatile market. Now, the other commodities, gold is just literally chopping back and forth. We had talked about having a target down here at 1725.30, and that's exactly what we tagged. We did. We came down, we touched it, we bounced, we shot right off of it. You know, again, late last night, right? This is what 9 p.m. 9 p.m.er. Not normally when you expect to see this much movement. This was a but $22.50 move. So kind of a lot. Did it bounce? Did we call longs there? We said that's our target. We weren't looking to go long, but had you looked to take this one long? Again, whether it be a confirmation or not a confirmation, there your 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So had you taken it long, you were out. If you went back up and used that as a Harry Potter, using this as a confirmation where we touched here, I'll just slide it across right there. You can see that it also went out for a 1 to 3 on the top side when it tagged 1768.98. So Again, multiple opportunities to take it long. Gold holding again negative here. Again, I think what it's showing us is the gold market looks like the inflation number is going to come in as expected tomorrow, but, and maybe even a little bit higher. Again, gold is a little bit weird. Again, seeing money flood back into bonds, it's kind of also telling us kind of somewhat of a similar story. But that inversion curve is really kind of where it's like really pointing to right now. I would say it's interesting where we are right now. I mean, if we can go and hold and maintain around this 1725, that's a big psychological level. But you know, if we look farther back, and I'm going to go up to 4 hours so you guys can see it, you can see based off of this level here, and again, I'll extend it across just so you can see kind of what it hits. You can see that I'll put a horizontal line on there, right? There's an area right here at $1,716.66. And then after that, there's a spike, right? There's a spike, and there's not even a clean level until all the way down here at 1676. So could this be, I don't want to say the beginning of the end, but could this be, and again, looking at, kind of where we're at right now, I mean, this was not a level, we've hit this level before. This was not really kind of our favorite kind of like long type setup. Again, we did get a confirmation off of it, but at this point, hold on, make this all the way across. We know that we got something here, and then we got a big drop. So I'm kind of looking at this for gold, and it's like, yeah, I mean, again, push deep. This is hit number 3. This is hit number 4. This is hit number 5. We don't necessarily want a Harry Potter because we know we have some buyers here, but we can break through 1716. We got a pretty nice run to the downside, right? So, yeah, interesting little piece there, right? Um, Again, 1 o'clock on a Tuesday before CPI numbers, probably not the time to trade this one. But see what the Europeans do with this one. I think tomorrow morning, starting at like 7:30 in the morning, um, could be where we go with this. Okay, sorry. Just making sure it wasn't like a. It rained so. I told you guys it rained so bad, and like the boys' shoes were so wrecked. I just threw them out. Like I can't even have them in the house. They smell so bad. I messaged one of the other mothers. I'm like, hey, you didn't. He didn't leave his cleats in his bag, did he? Because Asher and Reese's were horrible. She just wrote me back. She goes, "Oh my god, I think they're in their bag in my trunk." I was like, "Oh, they're done. You need to burn it all." Um, Silver. Silver took the same chop. Now we were also looking for Harry Potter here, and again we hit it, 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 we hit it again, we hit it again, and not really. It didn't really give us the entry we are looking for. It did kind of do a 1, but it kind of shot right back up into it. So again, we're still looking for shorts here. I do think silver is a short going into tomorrow. I'd like to kind of hold and maintain, and I'm kind of again trying to find a more near-term base. There's not really. I mean, it kind of based and chopped, and it kind of based in here, and it's kind of blocking it off, but it hasn't really given us that like really clean entry. If you remember that these two reddish lines, the 1904 and the 1883, this was the higher time frame zone we were really looking to chop through. We can extend this kind of down, and you know. I think the 23.6 level is important to look at. You can see there's all this basing here, and we tagged off of it here and kind of front runner a few times right here. Right now, based off of the low, I'll pull one of these over here. This is kind of where we're sitting with it, right? At 1936. I'm kind of hoping that like we push up to it. I think that would be a great level to take short tomorrow. The other option is if we push down and the numbers come in disappointing, we spike up. Then I think also 1936 could be a reversal. So it's an interesting spot. I like it. I just don't know. I mean, that would require 35, 36 cents higher. Mm. I don't know if it can move that much from now till tomorrow morning. But if it did, I'd like it for short. I mean, I think that's a decent level. It's come off of it. And again, having those 23.6ers step in there, it's definitely a futures tool. That would be where you use it. So I still think overall this is I still think this is coming back down to 1840. And like I said, we were looking for Harry Potter short. We really haven't cleared the zone in a proper way. There was no kind of real basing. It was a pop and then literally came right back up to it. So it hasn't quite triggered, hasn't been enabled yet. I still have that also yen trade up on the other one. It's still 15 for 64. And what was the other one? Oh, yeah, there we go. 18 for 58 on the euro dollar. So they're still kind of in the same spots. Um, so yeah, that's what we got there. Indices look like they are now solidly in. VIX is obviously retreated back again. It's back to kind of yesterday's lows. And again, not a supply and demand based product. It should continue to drop. There's no more news till tomorrow morning, so we may see that continue to deteriorate. Yes, let's see if we would have had any opening trades today. Look at this. We missed it by just a little bit. Look at this basing. Look at this drop. Base. Took the target out, and again, just continued to drive its way through. So again, no short opportunity there. Kind of took a long on that. Let's see. See what we got. 9:30 candle was here. It actually missed. So, yeah, the 9:30 was open is right here. I would not have said that this would have been an entry for the day. Had the 9:30 spiked up to grab that level, yes, but you can see that it did not hit it. It missed it. So, would not have been a trade setup for me whatsoever. And all it did was it pulled right back down again. 10:30. I think there could have been a case made for a 10:30. Let's see. Let's see if it overnight. Yeah, it was close. It was really, really close. If you talked about a level here, right? 10:30 is this green right here, right? So could it have been a 61.8 open reversal combined with, again, 10:30 pullback? Yeah, you could have had something long in that one. It's not out right now for a 1 to 3. It's probably pretty close, but it's not out yet. Let's see. Right there. No, it did not get taken out yet. Super close. Looks like it's about to do it right now, though. Right? Looks like it's about to do it. So again, not a 9:30 open. We have the ability to look at 10:30s, obviously not because it is 12, not our normal time frame there. It looks like it's close. It looks like it's having a little bit of a hiccup, but that VIX continue to deteriorate. This should pop through any second. So again, 10:30 reversal pullback, 61.8 back into demand. Gotta love that. NQ wise, let's see what NQ here had. Again, that would have been the base. 9:30 was right here. I mean, I guess there could have been an argument made on this one that, hey, listen, we had a zone right here. The 9:30 candle opened here. It wasn't in a zone. It was pretty close. And again, let's see. That's around what? Right around 1200. Let's see. I'm gonna have to use the dailies. Let me see the dailies real quick. Hmm, let's see. That got all the way back down to 800. Eh. It only would have dropped. Let's see. One, two, three, four. How low did it go? So it would have dropped 5 binaries on the downside. So it would have moved 5 binaries on a daily contract. So obviously the 2 hours it would have blown through a lot more than that. Again, with this spike up and down, yeah, it's quite a move, right? Quite the move. Yeah, 217. 60. Yeah, it would have been a nice little opening one. Again, it would have been a binary kind of short duration contract, right? A 9 to 11. Being the 9 right here with this popping, you could have pulled the trigger on something if it spiked up at all. When it did, looking for that bit of a retrace, it had a huge move back down again. So yeah, this would have been more of like a 9 to 11. So yeah, you could have actually traded this one at the open, particularly with the pop with taking the 9 to 11, and again with it closing all the way down here at 10. 11 o'clock was right here. Where's the 11 o'clock candle? Right here. Yeah, that would have been a nice little binary. So yeah, there was definitely a binary in this one. Um, so yeah, there's one. Right now, again, I wouldn't use that level. I'd move this one a bit higher. I looked at this one over here and say, hey, listen, got front run off of it. It is around the 78.6. I don't personally like the 78.6, but there are people that do like it, and it was a very, very strong push to the downside. So if we can rally back up to 12,057, that'd be where the level is. And again, I'll just move this across. This one tagged it at 3:30 this morning is when we hit it. The 11,762, the target we talked about hitting from yesterday. So yeah, we're in the middle right now, so not much else we can do with it. We'll see where it goes. YM, let's see what YM did. 9:30. Again, we were talking about a lot of these coming down and basing, and you can see that it didn't base. It kind of pushed through and then pulled back. It went all the way down. And again, maybe you guys got into this one late last night, but we really only had that first opportunity, and then it just kind of continued to deteriorate. We talked about 3908. Obviously, that is out now. We're well beyond that one. Looks like in the overnight, let's see. this was at 130 yesterday. We had this top put in. And again, decent top, ascending wicks. We like that one. That's what we just bounced off of right now. Um, you know, again, would have already pushed through. I would not have traded this one at the open. The 930 candle is here. It did punch higher, very, very fast and retrace. But again, this is such close proximity. I would have been looking for the top, and we would not have gotten an entry into it. So this would not have been an opening, or 1030 pulled back. It's not really in the zone. Um, yeah, and even at the 23, you wouldn't have. That would have been a little bit too much risk. So this one had its impulse, its corrective move, and again, the 1030 is the space between this red and the green. So it did kind of reverse and go back higher, but it didn't really give you a risk level for it. So not really necessarily the best. Yeah, sorry. By the way, let's see. That Euro Yen trade is moving in the right direction. I'm just trying to follow these up. Nope, not those. Gotta love when you hit the wrong button. Yeah, Aussie Yen is still there. Yeah, Euro dollar is also pulling away. So they're all moving in the right direction still. And then let's see Russell. Wow, look at the chop on the Russell. Now, the Russell, looking to the left, you can say, hey, listen, there's a zone there, right? But this is the better of the zones right here because there's the confirmation off of it. This doesn't have a confirmation. This has a confirmation. Bring that across. There's your 930 spike in, right? Right into that level with a confirmation. That's a good reversal. So yeah, this would have been opening setup short as well. Yeah, that would have obviously gone well past 1 to 3. 1 to 3 right there. Yeah. So look at that. Spike right up, turn, and roll back down again. That was a nice one, actually. Let me see. Knockout wise. Even call spread wise. Let's see. Where were the call spreads on this one? Could you have blown any of them out? Nah. Couldn't have blown any of them out, unfortunately. Let me see over here. Where are we at? 17. Eh. The knockouts on that one are not as good. There was a 1750 knockout that was just above 1750 over here, but on that spike that would have been, yeah, it was all right. It was okay. So, yeah. So 2 for 4, both of them went to full profit. The other two not really in great setup positions. Yeah, Vic's chopping through quick. Yeah. I mean, like I said, they're decent. Let's see if we're gonna have any help here. Twitter's got room to run. Apple peeking. A little bit there, but it's probably more up here that Apple's probably got about another $2 to move before it's in a bad spot. Tesla's just consolidating. It's down, but it's obviously not at the lows for the day. It's up, what, $20 from where it was the lows. It dropped down, came back up, and just it's basically where it closed yesterday. Not doing a whole lot. So, yeah. I mean, you know it's getting risky when AMC, GME are up 5% each. Interesting. All right, so that's it for today. Let's go ahead and do the drawing. Where the heck is it? So funny. All right, so look at this. I know middle day weird. I know I didn't put the post up there, so I'm gonna get yelled at. I'm sure I'm gonna get yelled at because I don't normally do the drawings, right? I don't normally do the drawings on Tuesdays, but since it was our post, I felt like I needed to. So yeah, I know more people are watching. I can see how many people are watching. I don't know if Neuro, Will, Ernest, those guys are actually on or not. So yeah, I don't have the list up there, and I don't see that they typed it in. But hey, you snooze, you lose. So look at this, right? Gotta love it. All right, so I'm gonna close it down. Like I said, I can see more people are watching. I don't know if it's Ernest or Will or not, but they weren't paying attention to the chat. And Debbie was. Like I said, they could be out doing things too. But there's definitely people on, so I wonder if they missed it. All right, let's see if it's Eki or going to be Debbie today. Debbie's got a little advantage at 66 and 33. Let's see how it works out. We've shown in the past that 2 to 1 is not that big of a difference. But Debbie playing the statistics today. Winner of today's drawing is Debbie gets it. And Debbie had 66% chance, so a little bit more than Eki, but that's okay. It didn't cost Eki anything today. He didn't lose any chips, and Debbie made them up anyway. So again, Debbie, I can't wait to hear about all the protests because they were unable to jump on today because we weren't sure if we were having the session. And again, I didn't blast it today. That's what they're going to complain about, is that I didn't do the full blast to everybody in Discord. But you were on, so that's all that matters, right? You were on and you got it today. And Eki, thanks for joining me as well. And again, we got another 10, 11 people watching right now. So I appreciate all you guys watching today. Again, like I said, normally this is not broadcast on my channels. It's on Nadex's channels. But they have not been able to access their GoToMeeting. So we'll be doing it here. Hopefully next Monday we'll be doing the morning show. And again, those will be fun. If you guys are wondering what I'm talking about with the different contracts and things like that, it will be a broadcast. It'll be on Nadex's YouTube page, broadcast directly from them. I actually dual stream it as well, but we'll be talking about kind of what's hot, where some trade setups are for each morning. So it won't be a full breakdown. It's only about 15 minutes. But with that said, I'm out of here. If you need anything, shoot me a message on Discord. If not, I will catch you back at our regularly scheduled time tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. With that, I'm out. Take care.